and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to a full Barça news roundup here, guys. We're going to have more insights into Hansi Flick's Barça after the performance against Man City. We're going to be talking about Vitor Roque as well, and also Clement Lenglet, and there's more money on the table for Dani Olmo. An even higher offer has gone in. We've got to talk seriously about this deal and exactly what is happening. So come on, and let's do this. But I do want to kick off with some super thanks donations first of all, because one of them here is coming in on Dani Olmo. Because Javier here says, why don't we hold back on the Olmo deal, save the money now, and really go big in 2025 on someone like Musiala? And that's not the first time that's been mentioned here on the channel. And also here, great support coming in from Edwin, $10 for 10 years here on the channel. Thank you indeed there for the fantastic support. But I actually want to start here today, guys, by looking back on that performance against Man City and what we learned from Hansi Flick's Barça. You know, the way that he wants to set up, the mindset that he has here as the Barcelona coach. And I think in terms of the formation, what we've got to say first of all is that it's going to be flexible. Hansi Flick here at Barça is looking at a fluid 4-2-3-1 formation. That is what he's basing many of his principles around, but he won't rigidly stick to that. What we're going to see here are flexible options. We've still got, of course, wingers to return to our team as well. We're going to take up a 4-3-3 at times. But what we also saw against Man City was a 4-4-2. Certainly out of possession there. When you're reorganising, when you're getting into your shape, Hansi Flick here has a number of different setups that he can switch to, so expect some variations. But I think the most important thing, what is going to be the fundamental thing here at Barça for Flick, it's all about the press. It is all about the mentality as well behind that pressure on the ball. And that's going to be the one non-negotiable thing for him. The system is fluid, it's flexible, but the pressing and the mentality, that is a requirement. Because he wants the team to be high up the field. He does not want to take a backward step. And I thought it was really interesting to hear that after the game against Man City, he was happy with the display, he was encouraged by the performance, but he was frustrated at Barca dropping back, at Barca defending at times there against City in their own penalty area. Flick did not like that one bit. He wants the team here to step high up the field, to always be there willing to put pressure on the ball. You will not see him sitting back. You will not see a Hansi Flick team inviting pressure, allowing the opposition time. That will not happen. And for me, that is fantastic news. But I do want to talk more here, guys, about the double pivot, of course, that we saw in the game against Man City. Yesterday we spoke plenty about Marc Casado and the really exciting signs that he is showing in the team. And apparently in the dressing room right now, guys, he's actually called Joshua as a reference to Kimmich there. And I am fairly certain that Alejandro Balde was the man who actually started that off. So everybody right now is calling Casado Joshua, and I think that is absolutely fantastic and positive signs for the coming season. But I also want to talk here about Marc Bernal, because I think with him, you've got to be a bit more patient. He's a lot younger there, only 17 years old, so there's still going to be mistakes in his game. You know, I think against Man City, he looked a bit rough around the edges at times. There's things that he's got to improve upon, but the talent is definitely there. You know, there's still flashes of absolute quality in his game, and at such a young age as well. And I think as a duo, Casado and Bernal, they look really good together. And I think you see last season they played regularly, lots of football there in that double pivot, and it shows they've got a really good understanding of where each other need to be at any given time, and that is absolutely vital for any double pivot partnership. And it's really interesting right now, guys, because what we're hearing is that it is not ruled out that we could actually see these two, Casado and Bernal, as the double pivot against Valencia in the opening league game of the season in a few weeks' time. That would be absolutely extraordinary, and I still believe here Flick is looking from within. He has looked at the defensive midfield options, he's looked at the players that we have coming through in that area, and he believes that in defensive midfield, we already have what we need, and he can build on that. He can improve players, he can develop players, and quite clearly, the talent, it is here. However, speaking of talent at the club, let's talk about the Vitor Roque situation, because we know, guys, that he is subject there of interest from Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. Barca are actively trying to sell him this summer. They want to move him on, and they want to recoup most of the money they paid out for him just last season, of course. Now, the word is right now, though, Roque has rejected that offer from Al Hilal. He does not want to go there. He is not really interested in that move at all at this stage, and his future remains uncertain right now. Lazio are also said to be interested in him. They've looked to make an approach to Barca. Sevilla have been very closely monitoring Roque's future at Barca as well, so there's other clubs that have been showing interest, but that is why right now, every single opportunity that Vitor Roque gets in a Barca shirt, it's vital for him. He has to take these opportunities, and against Man City, guys, he did not have a good game at all. He was one of the 3 players there to be subbed off at half-time. But again, he's being deployed as a left winger. He is not a left winger in any way, shape or form, because that's not his position. He wants to be the number 9, he wants to be the centre forward, and you're not going to get a good game out of him in that left wing role. But I think what's interesting here, there's a super thanks actually coming in from Said, who basically says, are we seeing something in training maybe? Is Flick seeing something? Has Xavi seen something from Roque that they don't really seem to like? And the reports in the media right now, and these of course convenient timing, but they say that Xavi's staff felt as though a lot of things were missing from Vitor Roque's game. In the training sessions, they were not convinced by him. That is why he did not receive many minutes under Xavi at all. But I think the bigger problem now for Roque is that quite clearly he's not in the club's plans. We know that Flick has been made aware of that from the word go here. We know that Flick now is not really expecting to count on him at all. He thinks he's going to be leaving the club for sure. And now on top of that, you've got Pau Victor, who's been signed this summer for just €3 million. He's made that step up to the first team, and he's looking very promising here early doors. And he's another player now that's ahead of Roque. In that number 9 role, Pau Victor comes in. You just left. Victor is here now, and he's ahead of Roque. And this, for me, only adds to the feeling of poor planning at Barca, whereby it's a big money signing that we went out, we got him, we brought him in, and again, it's being proven here to be unnecessary. And that's being proven more and more every passing day. There was no need to spend big on Roque in a delicate financial situation. Why did the club think that it was necessary to do this? And I think this is actually something that we've got to bear in mind, because in a moment we're going to talk about Olmo. We're going to talk about what's necessary, what's needed at the club, and when you should spend big money. And there's another super thanks here about Roque. Does it damage our reputation there amongst the football world, amongst young talents coming through, with what we've seen here with Roque, whereby he hasn't really gotten that opportunity? He was a huge talent in Brazil. So much was expected of him. Real excitement and expectation was on his shoulders coming over here to Europe. And it's just safe to say now that things have not gone at all according to plan, whatever that plan actually was. But okay, guys, before we do get on to Dani Olmo, I've got to talk to you about my good friend Clement Lenglet. This man, of course, continues to be at the club. You know, I see pictures of him just appear, of him in a Barcelona shirt, and I think, oh, you're still here, are you? And he is still at the club. But it's been a really interesting week regarding Lenglet, because what we actually heard just a few days ago is that Hansi Flick, he's been impressed by Lenglet. He actually quite likes Lenglet. He's been looking at him and he rates him. And Lenglet was then given the captain's armband against Man City. He led Barcelona out there in an official game, and then boom, yesterday, Atletico Madrid want Clement Lenglet. I mean, this is extraordinary. This is 4D chess on another level. Have we actually managed to generate interest in him here? These are reliable reports as well, guys. This is not nonsense. This is genuine information here. Atletico Madrid have opened talks with Barca, and they've opened talks with Lenglet, and the best news about this is that Lenglet would go. He would actually be willing and happy to join Atletico Madrid, because we've always needed a sizable club to come in for him. A decent club. That's the only people there that could take Lenglet away on the kind of salary that he's earning at Barca. Those are the only people that could get rid of him for us. And Atletico are emerging. Can they be our saviours? Can they help us with the Lenglet situation? Only time is going to tell. But okay, guys, let's talk now about Dani Olmo and this entire situation, because this morning we've had plenty of concrete reports on Olmo's future. Fabrizio Romano said the contract with Olmo there has been 100% agreed between Barça and Dani Olmo's agent until 2030. It would indeed be a 6-year deal at Barça for Dani Olmo, and Fabrizio also confirmed that Barça now have officially made their second offer to RB Leipzig. They have offered 55 million euros fixed fee. That is guaranteed money there for Dani Olmo. We would have to pay that no matter what. There is also 4 million in there of easily achievable variables. So those there are easily obtained, probably going to happen, nearly guaranteed money there for Leipzig. And there's also 3 million of more difficult variables in that offer. So Barca there have effectively put a potential 62 million euros on the line for Dani Olmo. Now, what is your initial reaction to that offer, guys? 55 million plus 4 plus 3, it's enormous money. That is the bottom line here. 62 million potential deal. It is absolutely massive. And I just want to stress here, before we even talk honestly about this deal, I find it difficult with Olmo because I don't want to make it sound here like I don't rate him as a player. I don't want to make it sound here like I don't like him. He was one of the best players of the Euros. He's had a pretty solid season. Not spectacular at Leipzig, but he's a player there who has quality, and there's a lot of that could definitely fit in with the Barcelona team. He knows the club well. We know all of this. But do I see him here as a 60 million plus player? I'm sorry, I just don't. And especially for us, maybe for somebody like Man City who can go and spend 60 million on someone, and if they don't work out, it's fine. Next summer, or even next month, they can go and buy another 60 million player. It's irrelevant for them. But for Barca, when every single euro right now must be calculated, must be really well planned out. We cannot just make big signings easily anymore. You've got to think about them. And I just don't really understand the obsession with Olmo right now. I don't really think, and I don't look at our team and think of all the places, all the positions to spend this money. It's right there in the attacking midfield role. I just don't get that, guys. I do not get it at all. And for me, it makes it even worse if we're not getting Nico. Because then it's even more of a head scratcher. Because if Nico really isn't coming, why would you not spend that money then on another winger? It was clear that we felt we needed a winger. That's why we've been going after Nico. So why would you not think, well, there's alternatives? Nico is not the only winger on the planet. There's other players out there that you can get, and 60 million is a lot of money. What are we doing here? Where is the planning again? And I go back to that Vitor Roque situation. He was brought in for huge money. Just like, for instance, Ferran Torres was brought in for huge money. These are players here that arrive at the club. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of good feelings. But what is the actual plan? Because if you don't have a plan for a player, it doesn't matter how good they are. It doesn't matter here how much they may suit the team. But if it's not a player that we actually need, if it's not actually a position here that we're desperately crying out for, is it the best use of the money? And right now, I'm just concerned for Barca. I want us to spend money in the right ways. I know how hard it is for us to make signings here. We're not in the days of years ago. We can't just spend money like it's going out of fashion. We've got to be clever. We've got to be smart. And there's even rumours, guys, that Leipzig could reject this offer. Now, if they reject it, if they turn it down, oh, please tell me we're not going to go back with more. Please tell me here that we're not going to say we will keep going up and up and up. Why? Why are we doing that? What's the sense behind that? What is the obsession here with now needing to sign Olmo? Because it almost feels as though, guys, there was interest there. We met with his agent. We've upped the offer. We've gone back in again for him. And it feels as though now we're literally going to do whatever we need to sign him. We won't stop until we get him. And I just don't understand that. There's nothing really that says to me we've got to go all out, all in to get Dani Olmo. Like I say, I like him as a player. He's a good player. He was very, very effective in the Spanish national team. But for that sum, and it keeps increasing, on a player as well who has suffered plenty of injury problems in the past too, I just think there's more risk than gains here. I just think there's more to be very cautious and very, very sceptical about. I don't want to see us wasting money. And I also don't want to see us here waste talent. We keep signing players. We keep spending money, but spend it on the right players. Spend it on a player that you've got a clear plan 4. But there we have it, guys. Those are the honest opinions right now that I have on Dani Olmo. And I have to keep stressing, it's not that I don't like him. It's not the fact that I don't think he's a good player. But I just want your thoughts on it right now, guys. I want to understand what the feeling is amongst the fan base. I think we're all very cautious. I think we all want to spend our money in the right way. And of course, it's not our money. Obviously, Barca can do what they like. But we care. We genuinely care so much, maybe even more so than those inside of the club making the decisions. So let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments down below. What do you make of that new bid for Olmo? How much would you spend on him? Or is that money better spent elsewhere? I will catch you soon. There will be more coming up. There will be more discussion to be had. But thank you indeed for your great support. But until next time, as always, Vejska, El Barça.